So I originally came to the United States in 1998. Then I moved to Lexington in 2013 after I finished my master and PhD degrees. And then I found a job at UMass Boston. So then the reason I moved to Lexington because because of the education. So I have two children. So the older one already graduated from high school in 2018, right before the pandemic. And then my younger one, she's now the 7th grader at Clark. And she started her public school education from the very beginning, the Lexington Children's Place, when she was 3 years old. So before she joined the Lexington Children's Place, she only learned Chinese because I want to make sure she knows how to speak Chinese, even she was born here. Then she started her English education through the LPS, public school systems. So then so for my older one, because I was too busy, because this is typical for the first generation immigrants, right? So my first daughter, she was also born here, but I was so busy, I didn't have time to, go to the PTA, PTO, all those type of things. So she was very independent. Okay, she figured out her way, all the way up. Mm-hmm. When she graduated from Lexington High School, my younger one became kindergarten. So because they are 12 years apart. Again, this is typical for the first immigrant because I was working on my PhD degrees and raising two children. So 12 years apart gave me enough time to raise two children. So for the second one, what I did is I was the Harrington PTA president for 3 years. I gave my best effort to pay back to the community. And I was the site council for Harrington for 2 years. Now I'm the site council for Clark. Okay, so this morning we just finished a meeting for the monthly meeting for the site council. We started from 7, finished at 8. Then have a meeting at school at 9 a.m. So I have a busy day.
And you say site council?
Yes, site council.
Could you say what that is?
Oh, the site council is the way you actually have the parent representatives, teachers, and the principal. So you have monthly meeting that you discuss about the school innovation plan, feedback from the community. So I believe this is something really nice for the LPS. So it's a way for the school system get communicated with the parents, in addition for the PTA, PTO. Okay. So what I found out about the Lexington is, I have been in the United States in 4 different cities. So my first stop is near the Washington, D.C., where I get my master's degree, George Mason University. Then I moved to Houston. Okay. So in Houston, I get because my husband found a job in Houston, so I moved with him. And then later I joined University of Houston as a lecturer and also working for my PhD part-time. So that is where I get my PhD degree. So computer science, then I found a job at UMass Boston. So Boston is the third place. I was in Cambridge before I moved to Lexington. Okay. But I found for the fourth city, the Lexington is a really interesting place. I found it's a very unique place. And also this is the place that have time to be more involved with the local community because I'm old enough, financially more stable. So in my spare time, what I did in Lexington is I first joined the CAL, the Chinese American Association. Mm-hmm. So I was their board member and I was the cultural community co-chair. So what I did is we do the Lunar New Year celebration, and then with the library, we do library after dark and all kinds of cultural events. Then later, I joined the town celebrations committee. So that is, I worked with them for several years. So we were busy with the Veterans Day, MLK Day, and also the page, the all kinds of interesting things. So they really helped me to learn the rich history of Lexington. And then I joined the CEL as a board, Community Endowment of Lexington. And then that's because they focus on non-educational activities. So it really helped me to learn all those kind of things. And then I'm now the 4th year board member for the library, Current Library Foundation. So second term. So the one term, 3 years. So this is second term. So And then I'm also in 2020, I founded this. So this is about this talk, the Youth STEAM Initiative. So what happened in 2020 is we have the pandemic, and then my younger one was in elementary school. My older one graduated, but then when she graduated, that was the first time I knew she had a really hard time in Lexington High School because it was very competitive, right? She was a newcomer, had no friends, For my older one, it's really hard for her because she kind of like, just jumped into this community without any friends. So it's hard for her, but she is a good girl, she never complained. But then when she graduated in 2018, I knew she shared her experience with me. That was the first time I knew the high school students actually had lots of hard time, lots of pressure, peer pressure, stress, all kinds of things. In the pandemic, that made me think, because my younger one was really struggled in the pandemic. So all of a sudden, all the young kids started the remote learning, right? She was really confused. She was very confused about Zoom, everything. Sometimes in the Zoom meeting, because the teacher actually had a special meeting with her. You really had to be well behaved. And she actually just simply leave the meeting and play by herself. She did not realize she had to, respect the teacher. The later teacher sent an email to me, said, Wei, your daughter Angelina, she have to, listen to me during the Zoom meeting. She cannot just simply leave the meeting and then just go. So I was working on the PTA. I think, this is really such a chaotic situation. We should do something. Then I checked out the PTA website, and it was more than 11 years old. So the code, everything was really old. It's not compatible with the mobile for everything. And during the pandemic, I think it's so important. We need to have some way people can communicate with each other, right? So that actually was the beginning of this team. So, and also at that time, Cal was very busy to collect donations, to buy face masks, all kinds of things. So I found out the volunteers spend hours keep tracking the where did the donation money go and which item had been purchased. And I asked them why you spend such a long hour to check everything. I found out because those are not computer science people, they're using a huge big Excel spreadsheet. So I told them, no, there's no way you can do this. It will be super inefficient. We should use, I think you are must know database, the ER diagram, right? You design database. I told them you really have to maintain the donation money and with the face mask, all kinds of things in a database. Then you can easily generate queries about all the information you want to do with SQL. You can write the program about it. So that was time actually I assembled a team of high school students. So like 5 people, 5 students. So we created, so I taught them about the ER because they never learned this in high school. So I taught them, okay, this is the way you design the entity relationship models. So let's create a database and let's write script. And then, talk to the volunteer to find out what kind of questions they may have. And let's write scripts, okay? And then those students actually did a fantastic job. So they did very good. So they got job done in 2 weeks. And then from that time forward, so all queries can be easily done. They can do all kinds of data analysis. So that was the beginning of the Youth STEAM initiative. So I found out that this is really good because what I found out is the high school students, when they learn how they can help the local community, it really helped them to reduce their stress and make them feel they're, useful. So I always told my daughter, you don't need to be success. I think you need to be useful. So that means, is there anything that help the people around you? Okay. And also the way they learn how to use computer science to help other people, and also the way they can communicate with adult volunteers, peer to peer. So it's no longer like the parents, you always criticize your children. You actually, it's a different classes, right? You treat them as the peer, you can work together, try to address the real world problem. So that was the beginning. And then later, I worked with the Harlem PTA. We created website. We redesigned website. So the way we redesign the website is using the modern way. CSS, JavaScript, HTML, and then so get things done in a better way, so people can use mobile phone, different type of computers can see the website in a much better layout. Okay, so then this is second project. And then because I was working in the town celebrations committee, and what I did is, because before the pandemic, we could not have the Patriots Day parade. So the committee was upset. Then we had the idea is, how about we have the virtual parade? So I'm not sure whether you knew we actually did a Smiles and the Miles project. So Smiles and Miles actually from, I think that was my idea. So I work with the town celebration committee. So the idea is we actually create a website so people can upload the photos by themselves, with the landmarks, historical landmarks in Lexington. So they actually can show how many miles they have walked in Lexington. Then they can upload the photos, with the meaning one, the interesting places. The nice thing about the website submission is this is done by my STEAM members. So it's done automatically. So I can show you the website later. So basically what they have done is you submit the photos and then the website will automatically grab everything and then display an online gallery automatically. And if you click on the photo, it will have a brief description about it. You actually can link to the Facebook to like it or unlike it. So you will see, so you have a virtual community to show people with the smiling photos with all kinds of historical monuments in Lexington. So that is a virtual parade. And I also help CEL because I was the board member for the community endowment Lexington, right? And then during the pandemic, we want to identify the nonprofits who really need help. So what I did is I asked him to analyze the 5 years data for the application data from CEL. Then we were able to identify the team who really need help, and we gave them personalized local participation email. Okay, so we asked, okay, you submitted to CEL before, but it failed. But then this year we do this type of call for participation. How about you resubmit the proposal to us? So I was the grant review committee co-chair. So I think that year we have a historical high submissions, and we were able to award lots of good project ideas, and also made a historical record high about the amount of money we actually have delivered to community. So then currently the team, so about the chatbot, what has been done here is we will actually firstly approach by Lex Budget from Lex Observer. So they actually founded a nonprofit called Lex Budget. So their concern was the Lexington residents are not well informed about how the town spend money. So they said, okay, we should do something. Then we started with has a computer program read through those budget files, and we generate illustrations, graphic demonstration, showcase how the money has been spent. So you just simply ask the computer to do the analysis. So that was phase one. Then later we have so at that time, we did not actually start to use OpenAI ChatGPT. But then what happened is, because what we have done for the celebrations committee for the virtual parade, right? And then Linda Dixon, I don't know whether you know her. So Linda Dixon actually was invited to become the chair for the Monument Memorial Service Committee of Lexington. So it's kind of like a quiet committee. It's kind of, I feel the committee was ignored, because what happened to that committee is the job of the committee is to identify those monuments, benches that actually had been forgotten. Okay. And then to identify the places and then report to the town how you should, renovate and fix those broken, monuments, benches, all kinds of things. So you can see this is the.
You mean the benches in the center?
It's actually I can show you. It's not only for the citizen. For the citizen heroes. They give the name citizen heroes. Okay. So I feel the committee is kind of like a quiet committee.
Yeah.
It's like it's not really the center of focus, right? It's not. There's a reason why those people get forgotten. Okay, so it's nothing related with the being famous or earn lots of money. But I work with Linda Dixon in the town celebration committee. I know she's a very good lady.
Mm-hmm.
Then she reached out to me and said, "Wait, can you help me to because they need to identify those the location for those benches monuments." Okay.
Right. These are let me just make sure I understand. These are the benches that are wooden benches and they have brass plaques on the back of them.
I
Is that
believe
what you're talking about?
Harry, what I'd like to do is focus more on the chatbot.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to understand what
No, I understand. And wait, while we're here at this juncture, let me just say one thing, please. The high school project is a hot button for lots of people.
yes.
There are
So-
strong feelings on many sides of the issue.
Yes, there are lots of
This
things
is not a
involved.
forum to discuss right or wrong of the data, or we should vote yes or we should
No,
vote no.
not at all.
I just want to be clear.
Yes.
And so therefore,
Uh-huh.
this is a presentation on technology
Yes.
to present information to people.
Yes.
And you'll cover that. I know you've covered it in Lex List a little bit. You'll
Uh-huh.
probably cover it here
Yes.
a little bit as well. And
Uh-huh.
I just don't want to have a political discussion.
Oh no.
I want a technical discussion.
Yes, of course.
And
So
for questions, I think we'll wait till the end of your presentation, and then we'll have a broad discussion
yes.
about the whole thing. Would that be the best for you?
Okay, sure. So then I want to.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes. So basically, what we have here is when we're working with the Monument Memorial Committee, because I sent out my youth volunteers. So we actually help them collect around 180 information. So we geocode those information. We work with the town of Lexington, create a digital database about those monuments and benches, everything. And then we actually have the database. And then we need to provide description to the database. And actually, it was a suggestion from the IT department from the town. They said, maybe you can use OpenAI ChatGPT to help us write description for some of the monuments. And that is the first time actually my team began to use ChatGPT API. Of course, when we generate the description, it had to be verified, checked by the human, by the MIC committee. So that's the first time we began to use ChatGPT. And then when the next budget, we started with the graphic illustration, right? Then later I think, okay, then let's use ChatGPT because what we have here is the ChatGPT is a large language model. So it can process complicated document, it can generate summarization, and then it's a good way. So then what we did is instead of using the traditional program to read through those documents, to do traditional data analysis, I use ChatGPT, the large language model, to analyze the documents. And then we have this idea, we actually submitted the proposal to CEL because we want to get money to do the development because every time you call ChatGPT, you have to pay. Okay. So the proposal actually was declined. So even I served as a board member for CEL before, but it's actually good. It actually shows, there's really no back door, right? But the main reason it was declined is they don't trust AI. Okay, they said, how do you know the result generated by ChatGPT you can trust? So I think it's a very good response. Actually, I like it. So I talked to my students. This is actually the reason why the proposal get declined because you did not really show the tool actually can generate a reasonably good result, right? So in the summer we worked on the research paper. I said, okay, let's do a rigorous evaluation about the way you use ChatGPT to generate result, the chatbot you create, right? And also compare with the general ChatGPT to see whether the result you return is actually better, more accurate. So then the student worked hard in the summer. This is the first time they began to write a research paper. I forgot to introduce my professional background. So my professional background is I'm currently the professor of computer science. So starting from assistant, associate, now I'm a full professor. Okay. And also 2 years ago, I was assigned by the provost become the executive director for the Applied AI Institute in UMass Boston. So I report directly to the provost. So between 2019 and 2023, I was working in DC for the federal government. So you must have heard about National Science Foundation. Okay, so I worked as a program director in the AI field for the National Science Foundation for 4 years. Okay, so then my primary responsibilities at UMass Boston is doing research on AI. So I'm working on AI for scientific discoveries. So that means I'm working with the scientists in hydrology, in space science, in cancer research to see whether I can create new AI algorithms to help them to create new hypotheses. Okay, and can I help them to use interesting, intelligent algorithm, identify new patterns that would not be able to discover by human alone. Okay, and to help them do a better job on the scientific discoveries. So this is on my research. So teaching, I'm focused on education for machine learning, introduction to artificial intelligence, and AI for all. And then for my role as the Applied AI Institute is do AI for everyone. So what I'm doing now at Lexington is related with my AI for everyone, mission. Because I think AI should not only be used for computer science people, it should serve the entire community. Okay. So I view today's event is kind of like my outreach event as a professor of computer science and also director for the Applied AI Institute. And also before Peter reached out to me, I did not know we have such a group. So sometimes I feel lonely at Lexington because, I mentor those students. So this is free of charge. So totally volunteer based. So I don't have time to do fundraising for my small institute, the youth team initiative. So we often pay things out of our own pocket. So it's not that super expensive, but it's not a really from my perspective, it's not a very healthy way, sustainable way to run a institute like this. But it was started from the pandemic. So at that time, it's kind of like, you want to give back to the community and help people, right? Now the pandemic is finished. So actually I have the question is, should I shut down the youth team initiative? Because it really takes lots of my time. But on the other hand, I do see the community can benefit from this. For example, the chatbot. Okay. So we start with, we had the paper published, and then it shows the chatbot actually can produce better results. And also students actually get the I think they get educated. You cannot trust AI. So AI can produce wrong results. So that is why you have to use other way to enhance the result returned by the chat GPT. So that is why for the chatbot, we have the RAG, and React. So this is what I told my students. So you cannot just simply for the high school building projects. So what happened is, I'm so busy. I don't have time to attend school committee meeting. Okay, I don't have time. And I know there are all kinds of information around. And I get very strong emails from certain type of people, right? Mm-hmm. So I just see, how can I help? As a regular people, right, I face the problem. There are tens of thousands documents around. I don't know which one I should trust. And I need somebody to summarize those. And I know we have around 200 meetings in the community, but I barely have time to attend any of them. Think about this. I have my full-time job. My parents are living with me. They're 86 years old. Okay, they don't speak English. They cannot drive. Okay, 86 years old. They're living with me. I have a younger one, 7th grade. I'm in the site council clerk, the library foundation, and it's too many things. But I care about the high school. I want to do something. So then I discussed this with my students. I said, okay, how about let's create a chatbot, but we only use the data set we trust. So we make a decision, we should only use data set provided by the school community, school building community, and the town by the government, right? I think there could be some other good resources, but we don't have the capacity to verify them. But we do see if you really think those things are correct, maybe you should communicate with the school building committee, ask them to post information online. Okay. So then the student actually spend the summer, the past summer, very busy in implementation. Then we open for beta testing for 2 months. And I think we have received around 3,000 queries. And through those, I think this for those students, I think it's really good way for them to see how AI can help the community and how important for the AI to be ethical. So for today's presentation, actually, if you want to know the details about the chatbot implementation, my 3 students team are the best people to answer your questions. So maybe sometime afternoon, especially the team leader, Jerry. Okay, Jerry has worked with me for a long time, for 4 to 5 years. So he joined, so he's now the senior in Lexington High. So she joined my team, which I think when he was a middle school student. Okay. So he started with the website design with me. We began with website. Okay, then later we think website design is so tedious. We switched to more interesting task. And then he later joined the Heroes team with the Monument Memorials Committee. So what he did is create the digital database with other team members. And also we actually did an interesting app for the town. So to find the shortest path. So for example, we have a visitor for the Lexington, right? And the visitor really want to visit several interesting places related with heroes. And then the app actually can generate the shortest path. So if you only have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, can you give me the path through the Google Maps and show me how I can visit those 4 places in 20 minutes? So we actually designed that app. And then so now Jerry is working on the chatbot for the high school. So I asked him, let's do something for the community. So I don't want the community to get misinformation. So at least the chatbot should be able to provide, help them to have a conversation. So the difference between a chatbot and keyword search is chatbot is based on the conversation, not based on the keyword match. So you ask a question, the chatbot will analyze your question and ask you feedback. You can feed the chatbot with another question. So it's a prompt based. So keyword search is like you type keyword, it's search on the internet, and you don't know what, it's just everything on the internet, right? The chatbot we implemented is we guide chatbot. You should trust more about information provided by the school committee, school building committee, and the town. So it is a strength, it could be its weakness, because then the information will be constrained by the data set we feed to the chatbot. However, we never advertise our chatbot in a way like this is the oracle. You should trust everything. It really just gives you the starting point. And also it provides multi-language. So this is built-in nature of the OpenAI ChatGPT, not from us. But consider the Lexington is such a diversified community, right? So you can pose your questions in different languages. And also another nice thing about the chatbot is, again, this is the project we use our own money, because I feel it's not going to be good. We use money from any side, right? It's kind of like strange. So, but once the voting finish, hopefully we don't have to do the voting again. So once the voting finish on December 8th, then we can stop our spending on chatbot. Okay, so currently it's still manageable. So Jerry, especially the team lead, Jerry, and the Justine and Jeremy, the 3 students actually have spent lots of time on this, especially during their senior time. Jeremy and Jasmine and Jerry are already in their senior time, and Justine is 11th grade. So, but I think that the time, what we have spent on the chatbot is totally worth it. because I feel it's really, for me, it helped me a lot. So, and also I ask students, you really have to show the reasoning step, the workflow reasoning, and also you have to show the location where do you find answers. So that means every question, so you have to show the citations. So this is quite important. And then for today's, actually, I want to say something about today's, so I prepare a PowerPoint slides. So it's not directly related with chatbot, but it is the AI background. I think that should benefit the team. Okay, so let me open my slides. Because I think I need to share my screen, right?
Yep, you can. No restrictions.
Let's see. This is Let me share my screen, okay?
Okay.
Yes. So, so for me, this is my passion. So I want to bring AI for everyone. So actually next year, I do want to do something for the senior adults, especially my parents are here. I see how them struggle every day, especially, 86 years old, you do a lot of things. But I still think the AI actually can help people. So of course, people have different opinion about the AI, but everything is kind of like a sword have two sides, right? So you want to take advantage of AI to see, because this is relatively low cost, the way you use AI. So that is why for my team, do the implementation for the chatbot, we don't need to do fundraising. We still can kind of like cover the expenses related with this. So this is very different from biology, from chemistry, from physics. You want to do something fancy, you need to have a wet lab. You have to buy very expensive equipment. For computer science, for AI, the nice thing is now you have all kinds of services around. You can do a lot of good things with relatively small money. So we should take full advantage of this. So the AI for everyone, this is my passion and it's also my job. And okay, so this is me. So I think it's quite important for you to understand the opportunities and hazards of AI. So two things are quite important. And also people should be informed, and then AI should, you should provide AI service to everybody, and then you really should have ethical integration. So I believe the high school chatbot has everything about this, right? Because this is such big decision for Lexington to build such expensive high school. So people deserve the right to get information right. And I really feel proud of my high school students. Even they graduate soon, they still can pay back to the community before they leave Lexington to have their own career advancement. So the thing of the C's is actually good for that. So ignore the C's. I borrow the slide. So, but I want you to know is so AI. So we had the concept of AI around 50 years ago. Okay, and we had the AI winter because at that time people thought, AI only looks beautiful on paper. But once you begin to really use this for the complicated real world problem, you just cannot deal with the computational complexity. At that time, we did not have GPU, right? So it's just too expensive. And then now you can see AI is no longer, the AI winter definitely not now, right? So AI is happening, and AI is, it will be a fool if you ignore the existence of AI and don't admit it, and then refuse to use it. So I think it's not good. I think the right attitude is you really have to embrace it. It does not mean you have to rely on the AI on everything. You really have to see how you can take advantage of AI to make yourself become stronger, better, and then you can focus on the most important things and not ask AI to do the more tedious things. Okay. So then I think it's quite important is human must be in charge. So that means we use AI, human must be in charge. So that means the transparency means you have to be really clear about which data set you use. So people must be informed about this. So that is why on our chatbot website, we actually have a list of data sets used by the tool. And we provide the point of contact for the community if you want to use any data sets, communicate with us, right? And the verification is quite important. So that means you should not trust anything returned by the AI. You really have to verify the results returned by the AI tool. So, but you just use the information returned by the AI as a reference. But you must be the person in charge. And then bias awareness. Everybody has bias. Everybody in this room, including myself, has a bias because we have our own personal journey, right? We accumulated those knowledge and we have our own background. Then you're going to build the world in your own way. So you have to be clear about the bias. You really need to think about this. And then for the tool is going to have bias. So you have to be aware of that. And of course, human oversight. So this is very important. So you should use AI just as a tool, not anything else. So this is my opinion. Okay, of course, I know people are working on the AI budget, AI company, all kinds of things. But I'm a true believer is we need to have a humanistic foundation. This is very important. So we cannot be manipulated by AI. And because my job is kind of like I'm the person to create chatbot, the OpenAI, ChatGPT. I'm on this side, from the AI side. Then for people to use AI, it's really the same thing. You really have to keep this in mind. And also recently, I read a really interesting. You can see it's on October 8th. So from Jason Wei from Stanford. So he talked about the 3 laws of AI. I found this really, really interesting. I want to share this with the team. Okay. So then so he talked about 3 laws. The first one is intelligence become a commodity. And second part, he talked about verifies law. AI excels where correctness is easy to check. And third one, Jack as AI brilliance in some areas, not others. I think this is quite important because for you to embrace AI, you have to know what AI is. Of course, you know the name artificial intelligence, right? We see lots of movies about AI, but what exactly it is, it's important for you to know exactly what AI can be done, what AI can do and what AI cannot do. So I want to elaborate about common data. So common data means, because we talk about intelligence become common data, it's something kind of like, a surprise, right? Because intelligence used to be quite expensive. You have to pay expensive tuition in order to get the education, right? But how come the intelligence get connected with common data? So common data means it's something easy, replaceable, widely available, and low margin and low differentiation, and interchangeable across suppliers, right? So may I ask people on the Zoom to check whether they are listening to my presentation? So anybody on the Zoom, can you give me an example? Anything, that is, under this category? Can you give me one example?
You're allowed to talk, you can unmute yourself.
How about image recognition?
Image recognition. Image recognition is still pretty fancy. Something even more trivial. Yes, go ahead.
I think you need to draw a distinction here between digital intelligence and organic intelligence. I would agree that digital intelligence, AI-produced intelligence, is a commodity. But organic intelligence that resides in humans, I don't think can be viewed as a commodity.
Okay, so let's keep your question open. It's very good question, very good feedback. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So here, let me give examples about the the thing that can be easily replaced, trivial, like an orange in the supermarket, salt, weight, oil. You don't need to go to a particular, you never, if you have this type of requirement, I would really want to buy this type of shape orange in this type of color in this particular place. People will think you're insane, right? Something weird about you. Because those are the things is really common, right? So what happens to AI is even for the organic intelligence, because what happened to the large language model is actually analyze all the accessible information for the entire world over the past 1,000 years, and then put those information, knowledge of human society into its model. Okay, so that means for you to ask a particular scientific questions, you submit the prompt through an AI tool, you get the result. So you kind of like obtain that type of intelligence, because those AI tool actually, the basic subscription is free, right? So you can obtain those type of information. It does not mean you have those right in your brain, but you get this type of information free of charge within seconds. So that means as long as this person has access to the internet, to an AI tool like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Copilot, and then if you have a conversation with this person, as long as this person is allowed to use the AI tool, it can give you pretty knowledgeable response. So this is what I mean about intelligence is actually become cheaper and much more accessible. So that means for anything, like the basic analysis, if you ask AI to summarize a paragraph, if you ask AI to check the grammar mistakes, if you ask AI to reformat, a messy content, AI can do things very good. It actually has the power of superhuman. Okay, because for human, we're actually very fragile. We're emotional. We need sleep well, we need eat well. We cannot work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But for the basic computer program, you all know this, right? Because this is technical. So as long as the things are well defined, clearly defined with a clear objectives, computer actually can get this done. So that means for anything related with the basic analysis, basic writing, basic coding, basic tutoring, and basic design, those type of jobs will be replaced. So that is why for some law firm, they no longer hire entry-level lawyers, because those can be done by a good AI chatbot. Okay, but I do agree. There's certain things cannot be replaced by AI. So this is the thing I'm going to talk about, what cannot be done well by AI. Okay. So, but I want to know, it kind of like, once we have you can see for each time when we have the technology revolution, certain things become cheaper, certain things become more accessible. So now it's time for the intelligence. Okay, so it's kind of like scary, right? So for human, so that means for human, what can be done well by human? So judgment, right?
Yes, I don't know.
Let's,
Stick with the facts.
Shaking
some
it.
qualification there, yeah.
Let's just call that a maybe.
Okay, ethics, creativity, leadership, complex problem solving. Okay, so at least you should improve your skills on those categories, because those things I don't think AI can do a good job. So that means you need to have a group of good people, to really think about this type of jobs you still want to be in charge of, because you don't want AI to do those things. And especially for the case, it has such personal relationship. Yes.
I just go on record as respectful disagreement with those statements. I think in many ways, AI is better positioned to serve these six general
Really? Okay, can you
ideas
share your
than
comments?
humans are. Yes.
Let's hold a discussion.
Okay,
session.
sorry.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we can have a discussion about this. Okay. And then so how do you know which part of AI can do better? So this is the verified law by Jason Wade. So I put the setting here. So that means if the correctness is easy, objective, and fast verified. So that means anything that human can verify the result without any ambiguous meaning, then AI can do a very good job. So for example, to check whether the answer is correct, right? To check the grammar mistakes, because you do have very clear rules about those things. Okay. So that means when you communicate with any AI tool, the prompts is actually quite important. So what happened here is I found out, for my students, even with both using ChatGPT, your knowledge still matters. The way you communicate with people. The way you can, because, so what happens is, I believe communication becomes more important, right? The way you can communicate with it, whether you can say what you want to do in a clear, logic way, make information clear. Then you write clear prompts, provide consistent feedback. AI can do a really good job to generate the results you want. So the way you can define the problem, the way you can clearly let AI understand what you want to do is actually become more important. So again, I like how Jason Lee talked about the verification. So that means verification actually becomes more important. So same thing like the high school chatbot. So when you return the answer back to you actually need to think about this, right? You may need to go to, because we provide the citation for all the answers, right? So you get the answer because those answers are generated based on the data sources we use. Then you may want to go to the citation to see it, and I don't believe the result. I don't like it. I think this is wrong. So then you may need to go to the source of the data we use, and then maybe it can help you identify something, can report back to the school building committee. I believe the information used here is incorrect, because using this information, we couldn't have this type of conclusion, but I don't think this is accurate. So based on my own verification, something's wrong here. So this is so-called the verified law. So verification is actually become more important. You have a tool, you have to verify the result. And then AI is not smart the way humans are. So what it does for the AI tool is, so you must have heard about the reinforcement learning. So this is actually the Turing Award we have for this year. Reinforcement learning means you try something, you get the reward, you get penalty, and then you try again. You want to do a better job. So the key question here is, because for you to provide feedback to the AI, you have to be able to do verification. Okay. So if you have a clear definition of the practice, clear definition of your objective, then AI can do a better job with you. So somebody mentioned about the image recognition. So image recognition, actually AI can perform better than human. So that is why AI has done a really good job to help medical doctors identify, to analyze those images, from the radiology, MRI. So then the doctors can focus more on more complicated issues, and the AI can help them to identify, those suspicious areas, right? To make sure you don't overlook anything, to make sure that the patient gets treated at early development of a serious disease. So those are the areas as long as you have everything clearly defined, then this is good. Okay. So if no, the AI progress is very slow. So this is the part. So anything you think is something AI can be done correctly, then so don't be disappointed or surprised if AI can produce really good result or really bad result. It actually depends on how easily you can define the correctness. So that is why for the high school building project, this is apparently is a complicated real world problem. So it's hard to see correct or incorrect. Okay. So that is why chatbot is here to help you, to aid you, but it's not the tool for you to 100% trust. Even I know my students have worked very hard to do this, and also is also an example to show intelligence is cheap. If we have this, if I ask my student to do anything like this, like 10 years ago, for high school students, it's impossible. They don't have the capability to do this at all, even no matter how smart they are. Now, the OpenAI provide the API, right? We can take advantage of their large language models. So their large language models is actually the large base for the entire human society. So all the knowledge, intelligence is encoded into the parameters of the large language models. So what we do is we feed the large language models with our own local data source. The data from the school committee, from the town, and then we guide the large language models. Can you help me generate the answers based on the authoritative data sets and based on your own knowledge on the whole human society, and give me the answer for this particular question? And also show me the citations where you find the answer. Okay. So then for students, it's really the programming part is no longer the deep learning, the large language models. It's really like how you can use the large language models, and then anchored by the authoritative data source, and then generate answer for the user.
Question? A question?
Yes.
Yes. So if you feed in this sort of local data, but somehow there's a contradiction between the built-in, the large database and the local data.
Local data has more weight.
It has more, okay.
Yes, we try to look
Give it more weight. Okay.
So then so let me stop sharing this because Ask ChatGPT is actually a pretty good. Ask ChatGPT. So basically what you have here is, let me share the, you can ask ChatGPT about you actually can ask ChatGPT to do the implementation of the chatbot for you. So basically the question I asked the ChatGPT is, you can do the same prompt, okay? It actually had a lot of implementation details. So basically we have the RAG, right? And then the question asked for the ChatGPT is the answer the question is, so how do I build a series trustworthy AI library instead of chatbot? Okay, so I want it to use RAG, React. So this is basically what we use.
What is RAG?
So the RAG is retrieval augmented generation. So that means you do information retrieval, right? Okay, but it's augmented with the data source you provide. So that means when you ask question to the ChatGPT, you actually provide additional data source you trust.
Okay.
So that means you don't, because ChatGPT is going to search all the information everywhere.
Sure.
It does not know which information.
So you narrow the focus to something.
Yeah, you narrow focus.
That's the augmented.
Yes.
Okay.
But however, your local data set is so, just a local data set, right? You still want to use the intelligence of the whole human society to analyze and understand your local data set. And then you want the ChatGPT to do reasoning and acting. You want to have a reasoning, you want to have a reasonable workflow. So at the code level, I think you're probably curious about this. So you can ask the questions. And then if you want to get information, so what you need to do is go to the chatbot, right? So we actually have information, go to about us, and then go to this link, Lex Observer. Okay. In the Lex Observer, what we did is I explained this to Laura. In the Lex Observer, she has done a good job. So this is the information you do. So you basically can ask questions about ChatGPT about if I want to do this, how exactly this should be done. So using these two keywords. Okay. So then what we have here is if we go back to ChatGPT, at the code level, you do an embedding model. Okay. So I think if you really want to know exactly how this is done for the chatbot for the high school, Jerry's team needs to be here. You may need, maybe during the winter break, they're available during the daytime. So,
Yeah, we can try to schedule something later on.
Yes. So they will tell you exactly what has been done because those students, they have the first-hand experience. And especially for the chatbot, this is something, I think for those 3 students, even they have worked really hard, but I think for them it's really good because they have, compared to the other high school students, they have already implemented a quite serious commercial level chatbot. Because if we charge for this, if we ask the town to pay for this, it can easily be more than $10,000, right? But we provide it to be free of charge in the community. So it also makes students feel so good about themselves. I think this is good because they feel proud of themselves to help the community, right? So then, but where the place can find the keyword for you to write prompts. So then has all the things. So then basically this is what we have here. So if you ask chatbot, it actually give you the papers you actually can read regarding the Act, regarding the RAG, all those things. The RAG design, everything. So want to read through those papers, you can read those papers. My students have read those papers when they, write the research paper with me. They also presented the paper in the IEE conference. So very good practice for them. And the nice thing is everything is free of charge. So I provide free mentorship for them, and then they learn a lot, and also they pay back to the community. So I feel this is something I also feel proud of myself. So then let's go back to the stop sharing the base. So go back to the team. So go back to the slides. And I'm going to be quick here. So I want to save more time about the discussion. So coding, okay, chatbot can do really good job at coding. So I have students in physics. He can publish in AAI. This is top AI conference. He does not know how to do coding. But then he asked chatbot to do the coding for him. Really good quality. Okay, math, simple math. Okay, so because when the correctness is exact, AI can do a very good job. Games, because you have clearly defined rules for games. There are no ambiguous meaning for games. And then who will, who lose is clear. So that is why AI can do a good job. And then fraud, spam, as long as you can specify the patterns for AI to identify, AI can do a very good job. So then this type of things I can ask, for senior adults, I know that for senior adults really afraid to be cheated, fraud, to lose money. So maybe we can do something about this to help senior adults. At least give them the alert. Okay, if you're not sure, ask their personal chatbot, is this something, is a fraud, right? So AI cannot do a good job on a great personal statement. So it may give you some guidance because there's no ground truth about a good personal statement, right? So this is AI cannot do it because it's hard to verify. And also people are really good on the emotional score. Okay. So the correctness is subjective human relation. So AI cannot do a very good job. But I know people are using AI to do all those kind of counseling therapy and emotional support, but you should be careful about this. Okay. You heard some news about somebody committed suicide. right? They ask for the advice from the AI. And then, so the third part is my own job, my own research areas. So this is the way I can obtain the grant research money. So recently, I have one upcoming NIH R1 grant, $3 million. I'm working with Mass General Hospital for the pain analysis. So this is really good. So this is the message. So AI wins when choose is cheap. Okay. Human wins when choose is complicated. So this is my message. Of course, we can
Good
discuss
slide.
about it. Okay. We
Yes.
can discuss about it. So then,
Can I get that in a bumper sticker?
yeah. So, so that means I'm a full believer about lifetime learning. So always learn new things. So I think what you need to do is, especially I think this is a huge advantage for humans. So that means anybody who know how to use AI tools efficiently is not using AI tools in a lazy. If you just simply rely on manipulated by the AI, you are bad. Okay. But if you know, you can ask AI to do all the tedious things for you. Because I want to spend more time with my children, do something like gardening or any other thing I like to do. So you can ask AI to do all those heavily loaded job for me. And then actually the design for the page is done by AI. What I did is I have these two sentences, right? The MacBook has the design suggestion, right? I like this design suggestion. Say, okay, use it. If you ask me to do this, it will take me at least 10 minutes. But with the help of AI, 1 second. So this is the type of thing you want AI to do. Then you can spend more time. They'll have time to come here in person to meet with. Otherwise, I don't have time. Okay. So this is my take for the AI, and then for the students often, have question like, actually, I have another parent ask me, so my son wants to do a master degree and which area he should apply for. So I'm going to use this slide to answer the question. You don't want to compete with AI if AI has a structural advantage. Understand? So that means you want to do the thing that AI is not good at. Something hard to verify. This is the type of job you really want to build the skills at. Spend money, spend time. And then if anything can be verified, can be, correctly, is clearly defined, then you shouldn't spend the time, invest your time and money in this type of jobs or education. Okay. So then, you can use AI to. So closing, because I'm an educator, right? So I know people worry about the AI can replace a lot of things, but I think the heart of education is always cannot be replaced. Like the way we communicate today, I don't think can be replaced by AI. How we interact with each other, learn from each other. So I still believe humans still have a very important role with the modern society. But I do feel time change. Especially I feel the pandemic has changed all the things, and then now we have the AI. It's a new world. This is what I feel. So I personally also feel scared because I don't want to be left behind. Okay. So then, but I believe if you just be an active learner, the way I engage with my children, and actually currently what will be busy, the STEAM team, I invite you to join the event on January 10th in the town center, Saturday. So what we're doing is, have you ever attended Lex Labs last year? We do the projection mapping on the Historical Society building. So what we did is we display interesting stories in the depot square in front of the Historical Society building. So this year what we want to do is, because we have those heroes, right? Still, even we have the database online, still they got forgotten. So I talked to Linda Dixon, and now they have a new chair, Nick Wang. So I said, let's tell the stories of those forgotten heroes. in the historical society building through animation. Okay, so the thing is interesting, right? So it's kind of, the whole story like a firefighter.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Could I just interrupt for a second to say that there are at least two people who have questions they'd like to ask online. Could we bend to them for a minute to let them ask their question? In which case, Olga, could you turn on your video and ask your question?
I will not turn on my video, but I will ask my question.
So we can see.
Let's stop.
She's not on her camera anyway. So.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Olga.
Okay. Thank you so much for working with the students and producing the chat box, and for doing this presentation and allowing us to have a conversation. My daughter is highly involved in the democratic politics, so I have been carefully watching political campaigns and how AI is used in political campaigns. And the first time, I am an AI skeptic, not because I don't believe in AI. I think that the future of AI is phenomenal. The reason I am very skeptical about the current state of AI is because I don't believe that the public should be used as the guinea pigs for training AI without the public actually understanding that that's what they're doing. And this is one of the examples is the robotaxis in San Francisco. And clearly, even if AI results give you better outcomes than over a long period of time humans would, the technology is being so scrutinized that by AI not performing 99.999% perfectly is going to lead to some very bad legislation. With that comment, let me move to the chat box. I think that it's a tremendously wonderful student product. On the other hand, I do not believe that it is ready for prime time for people to use to make up their mind about the high school project. And here are several reasons why. When it came online, it took me several weeks before I found one night when I was willing to not sleep and play with it. Because I don't know about the rest of you, but when I get on ChatGPT, it's very addictive. And so I tested it for about 6 or 8 hours. And I know a lot about the project, and therefore I knew what information was available. And generally, it took me somewhere between 3 and 7 questions that I had to ask the chat box in order to actually get me the piece of information I was looking for. And one of the reasons is because, unfortunately, most of the school and town records are saved in non-searchable format. And so finding a specific piece of documentation is extremely difficult. And again, you have to know how to search the databases. And I am not sure how good the chat box is at this, but my impression was that it wasn't particularly good. My other complaint about the chat box is that one assumes that everything that has been produced by the resources by our government and their paid consultants is the only truth. And I haven't had time to go back to the chat box and ask the following question. Dr. Hackett in 2022 posted that We will
Olga?
have a new building in the fields. And
Olga,
then, yeah,
I'm going to interrupt you, please. I want to stay with the chatbot and technology. I don't want to talk about the merits of the data. I don't want to talk about the various controversial issues. I want to stay with the chatbot and the data. And if you're done talking about that, I'm going to respectfully ask that you let someone else speak.
Yeah, because Dave Kahn has a couple of comments.
John
ahead.
Rudy has comments. He's in front of you, David.
Okay.
So Olga, one thing I want to add here is, so actually in 2026, I would like to have an AI ethics community event. So I think I would like to use chatbot, the experience we have with the chatbot, to invite community members talking about the ethical views of AI tools. So I would like to invite you to participate into our event. So I can reach out to you later. Okay. So because I do see your concerns and your questions about data sets being used. So I got your feedback. So then this is something I think, is a good question to be discussed later. Yes.
Thank you.
And we can put this information up on our website. If you want to send me like this.
But the data set is, if you click on the chatbot, so this is chatbot, right? And then on the sidebar, it actually has a data set.
Good, perfect.
We have the disclaimer, we have all the information here. So basically, you go to the chatbot, it has all the information.
Good, perfect.
So
We'll
we talk about
put the URL up on our site. So
yes, we talk about transparency, right?
And-
so
and you can
we're
get
not
everything.
hiding anything. We just simply post the thing we use.
And the video will be up on
Yes, so there's no hidden agenda for the chatbot.
Good. Thank you. Who was up next?
John Rudy, do you have a question?
Just an observation. It's
Turn on your
obvious
video,
to all of us that a chat box only does as well as the data that is supplied to it. And
Yes, of course.
after reading hundreds of messages coming across the Lexington list, maybe
Yeah.
1,000, there seems to be some question by some regarding some of the data that's being posted. And so I think there's always the risk that the data that the chat box depends on is data that may be questioned by some folks. And
Yes.
the questioning part of it then doesn't show up when chat does its analysis. It does its analysis based on what is input. And my understanding from personal use of Chatbox is that when I question something, having nothing to do with this subject, when I question something and ChatGPT says, "Oh yes, that's a good point. Thank you very much for sharing it," I don't believe that my data is then placed into chat. I think it's just an observation it makes to me.
It goes into your record, John. It's not put into a record for anybody else.
Right.
It
So the
doesn't go into the
result
database.
of that,
we
is
discussed
that-
this a while ago.
okay,
Go
so
ahead.
the result of that is that when chat is used for something, and there are other views out there, and I guess we're now kind of hitting some of what Olga was moving towards. That material doesn't get entered. That's intentional, of course.
Yes.
Okay, enough of me.
Yep.
Yes.
So just this, I really want to refocus the discussion. The data sets that were used are represented on the website with the chatbot. It does have limitations. I think everyone will agree to that. There are people who have their own resources and tools and experience that bring to the fore and use that for their own personal decision making, and that's fine. I don't want to have a political discussion. I don't want to go down the road of saying item A is incorrect because I saw on some website someplace that it's blue instead of green, or whatever the thing is. That's not a discussion for this organization. I'm interested in the technology. I'm interested in the work that was done. I'm interested in and excited about the kids doing the work and the future that holds. and what have you. And that's where I want to stay with this discussion, please.
And also, actually, for my volunteer job, is also more on the technology part.
Exactly.
Because this is my strength. So I'm a professor of computer science, so I'm not trained on the political issues, and I don't want to guide our students, because this is not my strength. So for me, it's more like teach them how to use technology to help the local community. So yes.
Yes, well, we have the question. We had
John,
Dave
I'm
Kahn
sorry,
has.
David Kahn, do you have a question, David? No comment, please, just a question.
Well, what I really wanted to say was I wanted to for high school children. When I was growing up, my professors in high school and in college said we can teach you how to think. AI is a good tool to help you organize your thoughts. I studied engineering. Engineering is like being a doctor. You get all these crazy systems come together, and they do something. It's like with the human body, you get the heart, you get the blood vessels, you get this, you get that, you get data, and you can manage your health. Okay? AI can help you organize your tasks or the research program that you're working on, or the project. That's my point. And that, I think, if you have AI for the high school kids as well as still developing, that's a marvelous tool to help them think and hopefully progress in their careers, technical or otherwise. You see my point?
I think we understand. I think we do.
You understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
It's a
Yes.
good tool to help kids learn how to think. You get the data, you look at it, you have the human aspect of it, and you got to make up a decision, make your own decision based on all the information you got. Which one do you believe and don't believe?
Thank
I
you,
would say
David.
it's
Oh, go
for
ahead.
adults to use, to organize their
It's not just children, David, it's all of us. We're all learning.
Right.
We have questions here. Actually, we'll start in the back with Jerry, and then, did you have a question, Rick?
Yes.
And then David, you're third.
John, I think, had.
John, okay. I knew somebody.
Going back to, there's nothing to do with current events. The town of Lexington's website, it's always been an aggravation that it's not searchable. I can't understand the wisdom of setting up a website that's not searchable.
She's not talking about that
Wait.
website.
Well, I'm going to ask her.
Oh.
What are the limitations now for these kids for this project when you have data sources that are not searchable? How are they going to deal with that from a technical standpoint?
If it's not searchable, then what do you mean not searchable? So
Well, if you go through the
hidden
Lexington
somewhere.
website, I was trying to find something, a refuse pickup or something like that, and it was in the personnel department. You
Actually,
wouldn't find it there,
So this is actually so for UMass Boston, we have more than 30 different centers, right? Centers. So we want to create a website that actually displays, showcase our centers. And we have the same problem. It's not searchable. We know information somewhere on the website, we just cannot find those. And actually, I'm working with the university to see whether we can create a chatbot for our center's website that allow people to find right information clearly through conversation. So this is actually the advantage for the chatbot. So chatbot understand your personal questions.
So we'll have a superimposed chatbot
Yes.
to do the search for you.
Yes. And actually, I believe so. From my personal perspective, I think town of Lexington should have a chatbot for the overall website. So that means for you want to search anything about refugees, whatever. So the chatbot will jump to each links automatically and identify. Okay, so I think you can find this information from that link. It's posted on the website, right? And then you can find this information from that link. So that means, because there's no way for you to create a website fits everybody, because different people will have different perspective. A chatbot actually can provide personal level service to help, as well as the chatbot create the location for the sources. So this is actually advantage. But the one problem for this is because when I hold this idea, I get really harsh comments about how chatbot use the supercomputer to pollute the environment. This is true. Every call to chatbot, you actually do a deep learning, right? You actually use the energy. So you kind of like you pollute the environment. So this is something actually I need to look into this. So that means that the high school student design the chatbot, to help the community, but from different perspectives, it's kind of like use a lot of energy, right, to produce answers to the local residents.
An LEED chatbot.
You're right. Can I just make a comment about this issue? When I access the town website now, I use Perplexity and I say, at Lexington, Massachusetts, what is the average home income, or what is the average assessed value of a house? And that is the best way to use that horrible website that we have. We paid so much money to get to it. It just can't be done. I mean, you have to use something that is a little smarter.
If you give it on this website, tell me what's going on.
So we can just do the mechanics of searching the website that I had to do physically.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
but now you can have a chatbot to use it. And for example, recently we have the Boston Globe talk about the special education thing, right?
Yeah.
This actually can be done by chatbot in a very low cost. It's information retrieval, right? So that
Exactly.
we can ask chatbot, go through all those documents, provide information asked by this parent.
All right, I have an important question to ask you. It's almost 11:30. What kind of time constraints do you have? Because we can talk about this for a little while longer, but I want to make sure you're okay.
Fine. So Wednesday, my next meeting is around 3, but I do need.
We'll leave
some time
before
for
3.
lunch.
I promise you.
Don't tell us.
We'll leave around 2:30. All right, I think Dick had the next question.
Yeah, I'm in alignment with your approach to this. I don't know a lot about it, but I know a little bit about it. My real question is, it seems to me that this has to get into the educational system, how you're approaching this, my point of view. And are you talking to the teachers, or are the students learning how to use AI?
It's about AI literacy. So what you're talking about is about AI literacy.
But do they actually get it into schools? Because the kids are using it. And the teachers are, from what I have heard, are having problems and either how to use it or how to teach it to their kids, to the students,
How to fight against it.
or whatever. But so are you,
That's the key.
are
that's
you
the key
or
thing.
are other people getting into the school systems and trying to teach them what AI is, like you're talking about here, what its limitations are, what its potentials are, what's happening with it, how it works, and so forth? Is that getting to the schools?
You need money to do this. And actually, I have one active NIS grant. And then I actually want to ask my program manager at the National Science Foundation, because National Science Foundation actually can provide supplemental money.
Yes,
right?
it does.
I'm actually thinking whether they can give me some money. I can.
It used to have money. It may
Yeah.
not have money anymore.
At some,
Oh,
Yeah, but
Rosie
I'm going to check
passed.
with my
Really?
program manager to see
Because when I
whether
was with it,
he can provide me some additional money.
Yeah.
I can collaborate
changed.
with Clark or Lexington high school teachers, and then they can get training on the AI literacy.
Yeah.
This about AI literacy. This actually relates with Olga's question, previous question, like how you can use AI in a responsible way, and what is the right way for the kids, for the teacher to use AI.
It's a complicated question.
Of course, it's a complicated question. So people need training, and we need community discussion. So, but for me, I'm doing all kinds of things in my spare time.
It's
And I
11:30.
share my thoughts at the beginning. I said I want to shut down this because I'm very busy with my own. Because this job is not going to help me earn my milk and bread, and actually, I cost my personal money to do this, right? So I'm not sure. So this is something I have to think about whether I should continue doing this or not. Because realistically, I should focus more on my own full-time job. Okay.
Question. Olga asks me to ask if a document is stored as a PDF with a title that's not very descriptive, will the chatbot find it?
So basically, so I give the link for the data set on the chatbot website, right? So we're basically using whatever has been provided by the school community, school building community, and town. And then if Olga wants certain thing to be used, Olga, you have to talk to the town and school committee, make your data set available on their website.
Steve, I want to give everybody a chance. So let's not do second dipping until we get everybody at least one shot, please. Where am I in the queue? David, you next, or it was John?
A narrow technical question. My understanding of what you've done is the chatbot is actually an interface that uses a large language model database, maybe
Yes.
ChatGPT,
Plus,
to figure out how to navigate a narrow set of data.
you're right, exactly.
All right, so I think a little clarification may be useful. Normally, when you say chatbot, Gemini, Claude, C,
Yes.
what you're talking about is an interface in a large language model database.
Yes.
So this is not that clearly. So it just,
Well, I think what you're saying is for the purpose of understanding language, you want a chatbot. But for the information that that language is reasoning over, you want to restrict it to this one particular source of information. Wouldn't that be a?
It's augmented
well, I
by
think so.
local
No, I think
content.
it's a clever,
Yes.
thing to do, but you have to understand it. So for example, ChatGPT and both Claude have this feature called project management. I don't know if you've used that, but it allows you to load up all sorts of files into project management, and then your prompts are directed towards that. So that's the flavor of what I think what you're presenting. And I think it's quite useful.
Okay. So,
Bob, did you have a question?
No, actually, I was going to make the same observation Harry said about what we humans think of as an unsearchable site. To a chatbot, is it not true that such sites actually are searchable?
yes, of course. For human, why this is unsearchable? Because you don't have the patience, you don't have the time, you don't have the passion to click through each link. You don't really like to do this. But for chatbot, it's easy because you just simply go through the tree of the HTML and get all the information, right? For computer, for anything like this, it's easy for this. For human, we like to do things more creative. Yes.
They're spiderable, they're not rate limited, they're not behind paywalls and things like that.
Yes.
Generally, they can be indexed and
We're talking about the town site.
Yes, and also another nice thing about the large language models is, you can search for PDF, you can, image, all kinds of unstructured data. So for database, you have to keep everything into a table, right? Like what I talk about during the pandemic, the face mask option. But for the chatbot, the nice thing is you can see the data set we use on the chatbot, they are in all kinds of different formats, Excel spreadsheet, and then the image, PDF, the website. So this is the advantage for the large language models. It's very intelligent.
That searching that you're talking about, true, you can have things like spreadsheets that require some organization, but you can have unstructured data too. You can have large volumes of text.
Yes.
And by putting in your chatbot, summarize it.
Yes.
You can do that.
And images.
Beautifully well.
And tables. Yes.
So you can bring the structured and unstructured data together.
Yes. Multi-model. Of course. So that means, and also things we know, we cannot trust the result returned by AI. So that is why for each answer, we provide the sources, we find the answer. So we ask human to do verification. As I said, verification is very important. Human must be in charge. So we never intend to give the chatbot to the local resident. This is something you should trust. But it's kind of like the tool for you to use to help you to debate in the Facebook, in the email list. Okay. So, but give you the information, but you have to make your own judgment based on information obtained from all kinds of resources.
Do you probably do talk about hallucinations with your students? How do you take something like the chatbot that you created and mitigate any hallucinations?
Hallucination for the large language model is by design. Okay, so that means if a large language model cannot make hallucination, it's actually wrong, because this is the way you want the model to be created. So that is why. So sometimes you have good hallucination, sometimes you have bad hallucination. So that is why for the chatbot, we actually we had around 2 months beta testing. And Olga, remember, I think I sent an email to you actually. Olga, I sent an email.
Yes, you did.
To do a beta testing, but you never replied to my email. You actually had a chance.
I'm sorry, I am about 4 days behind in emails and even further behind in all the social media. So right now I'm barely treading water.
But Olga, you know I have a good intention, right? So actually I
Oh.
invited you to the chatbot, right?
In fact, I'm sending you messages in chat saying when we should get together and work on this, because I think what you're doing for the schools is great. And one of the things I'm suggesting is that you meet with Dr. Hackett and the school committee and propose at least a half a day workshop as part of the professional development days, where you produce sort of every teacher's basic manual of what is good to use in schools, what is not good to use in schools, and what rules they need to establish so that they don't get us into the kind of a lawsuit when some kid produces an essay using AI and then they get an F and the parents sue. You've seen all the things that have happened about AI in education. And, the last thing the Lexington schools need is more controversy and more lawsuits. And part of that always comes from lack of information and consistent policy across the board in the system. And you seem like the perfect person to produce this for the schools. And, LEF, if they spend money on anything, this would be, I would hope that this would be a priority.
I have time. I think I'm going to ask my Natural Science Foundation program director to see whether she can give me more money, in addition to my active grant, to see if I can bring some money to the LPS. I can use the money to talk to the teachers and then to see how we can use AI to help our teachers and our students.
And by the way, if you produce a nice workshop that can be replicated, Lexington is generally the leader, certainly across Massachusetts. And when we produce something good, a lot of other communities adopt it. And, Lexington is not the only school system that's struggling with this. So if you come up with something good and get it into our schools, get feedback on it, and then improve it, by the time you package it, you will actually have serious impact on K to 12 public education.
Yeah, this is thank you for being ambitious.
And maybe serious income.
So I think let's start with something small and solid. So this is what I'm doing. So.
Can I ask you to talk a little bit about your work with the group on illuminations? Because I saw some work that you did last year, and both at the
the stone building.
The stone building, right? That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
The stone building is what I was very impressed with.
Yeah. So basically, the thing is, I think I'm always reached out by people who need help. So that is, relatively quiet committee, nobody pay attention to. So I began to think about, because I think there's a strength for human, right? You want to create it. So that means there's a reason why the stone building is forgotten, heroes get forgotten, right? So Olga, you're kind of like a citizen hero, right? The people who care about the community spend lots of time on the community. So I feel those people should be remembered. But
I just want to say that the thing I'm particularly talking about was last year.
We worked with the Christina. We started by projectors.
Right.
Okay.
And it was particularly useful on the side of the building that you did because it had very regular set of black and white images.
So if you have time, let me show what we have done. So basically, let me do the Zoom.
I think given the hour that unless somebody has a question that's likely to have, we're going to call it here.
Sure.
Okay, sure. So then this is the why? So let me make it small. This is the why. projects. I want to show the illumination. So we talk about something to finish today's meeting. Use team initiative. Because so I want to know is I did not intentionally make this like the Chinese American student only, but for some reason we only have one American student join us. I only have
Somebody has to be a minority.
I have, but I do have one student, American student, join us, and did you know which university he get admitted? So he has open mandate. He worked with us, very good. And I always have, open to any student who want to work with me because it's free of charge, right? As long as you want to spend time to learn with me. And he actually went to Harvard, so it's a good example, right? So this is the Lexington.
Yeah.
So we work with this is the building I talk about. Okay, so let me show you what we have here. Allenstone building. So Allenstone, the depot later. So Allenstone building, I feel this is a place.
This is it.
See, so basically we have a special software. We map the geometric shape of the building. So that means we pay particular attention. So let me do play speed to be quicker. So then let's do two times quicker. Okay. So you can see the way. So we work with Christina and Mark from Lexington. So we started with a small budget from the town. We purchased 2 projectors, and then we work with ABCL. We work with MLK to obtain the codes and images we can trust. So this is the idea. So what we do is, because we don't have capacity to verify everything, so we rely on the committee we can trust to provide information we need. And then we use the stone building to display the stories happened on this building long times ago. We feel this is a great way for us to let the community to remember the prime time of the stone building, to bring it back to the youth. So that means, for this idea, my idea is like this. So if you want the community to remember this building, if you simply just give them the newsletter, emails, people are not interested. But if you want to use some state-of-art technology, right, to display the story about this building in this way, right? You display the figures, the historical figures, the stories about this building, in the projection mapping way, people will enjoy this. See, you remember this? Yes. So you can see we have the historical figure. So we know, we calculate the location for the window, and then we do the illumination right through those locations. Of course, kids has spent lots of time to do this, but I think totally worth it. This is a nice way for us to, to showcase what has been done.
The only unfortunate thing about it was like 0 degrees when I had to see it. And it was in the wintertime when it's dark at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, and based on what we have done on this project, we actually get an award from CEL, Community Development of Lexington. So that means we want to display the stories of the historical figures of Lexington, like the firefighters who lost his life by saving a building in Lexington, or the World War II heroes, or somebody who want to preserve the wetland. We want to hear those people's stories through projection mapping on the Historical Society building. So this is going to happen in May 2026. So, but in the next in January 10th, we're going to show part of the hero we have done as part of Lexington, in addition to the codes and the fireworks, those fancy things. So this is the youth team currently is also busy at. So in addition to Chatbot. So this is STEM plus arts.
Well, how do we convince CEL that AI is to be used? I mean, I was horrified when I heard that you got your proposal turned down because they didn't believe that they were believing the story that says that AI is untrustable, and that couldn't
AI is not trustable. Actually, I agree with it.
I agree too,
you need
but
a human in the room. You have
you do have to think about
we agree from a technical level with more knowledge. The average person in the street only knows that vaccines cause autism. And that's what they believe. And so it's a question of how do you get the message that AI can lie, but tell it in the constructive way.
People.
And just talking to your
People, right.
talking to your neighbor they can lie also.
Yeah, people even on the screen here today.
Yes,
You
you
have
have
a
a
common knowledge
judgment,
is writing
right?
versus proofreading.
So this is the way we do for the historical society. So and then at Diwali, actually the India Association asked us to design something for the Diwali. So we did something in October again. So illumination. Okay. So now the team is busy. So actually today around 6:30 p.m. my team will be here. We're going to have a progress report about animations done on the historical society, on the historical figures. So because animation is quite difficult to do, time consuming. So kids feel a little bit frustrated.
We need AI for that, right?
So, but you can see the thing, what I'm really excited about this is you can see for this more than 100 years old building, we bring life to it. The horses were drawn by my students based on the 5 horses we have in the Lexington.
Oh, cool.
So I view this is really a nice way for the student to be so engaged with the local community.
This is great.
So they no longer just focus on their own chemistry, physics at high school. They actually care about what's happening in the local community. They pay attention to the horses. See? So this is the horse.
There's an announcement today about what's going to happen this year. But actually 2026, I guess.
Yes, January 10th. The date is already decided.
Right.
Okay.
So
January 10th, Saturday. Okay.
So I missed this last year, but not this year.
Yes. So just imagine the way we can tell our local citizen heroes the stories through animation and the illumination. It's such a nice way, right?
It's beautiful.
Yes. It's also time consuming, and also the software we use, we have to pay for it. And currently, the grant we receive from CEL actually cannot cover all the costs we have. So again, the way we do the community services, we never have money. So this is something, because I'm not a business, so this is my weakness. But then, so that is why often at the moment I think maybe I should shut down. I should stop doing this because it costs my time, it costs my money. Okay, but the nice thing is you can see the community actually join us.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful contribution.
Yes, it's also, I think students benefit from this because I often get the appreciate email from the parents. So I'm going to stop sharing. So they said the admission office, wrote back, mentioned how much they appreciate students actually using their own STEAM skills to help the local community. So that they think there's something really valuable when they apply for the
I asked my question just to show off how many good things that you've been involved in this community in terms of getting the students to do stuff and then different topics, getting them involved in the information of the special website for the school building. All this is terrific stuff. And I personally want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to segue to closing. 2 things. One, thank you. It's been wonderful. We really appreciate the work you're doing. Secondly, you know how to find me.
Yes.
When you have something that you'd like to share, let me know, and we'll try to find time on the schedule and get you in here and let you share what you do. If you, as projects come up and things you want to talk about, we're happy to have you come back.
And I think also the kids. We would love to see the kids. We've had kids in here before with their projects.
And I want to coordinate that with you. We're having a planning meeting next week, and then if you can give me the contact for
I think it's in 2 weeks, but
2 weeks. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Steve. I don't want to kick Bob out again. We've moved him a number of times. Let's do that, and we'll find out when we can have the kids come in and make a presentation, because I think we're all technically based, and I think understanding some of the technology needs the coverage would be an interesting thing to do.
Of course.
And it's great to see the kids doing it.
Yes, and I think they will benefit from the discussion with all.